In these peaceful moments before dawn, the ancient city of Prague rests beneath a soft pearl-gray sky. The beloved Vltava River flows like a gentle lullaby past weathered stone walls, its waters embracing the first tender rays of morning light. Delicate wisps of wood smoke drift lazily from countless chimneys, carrying the comforting scent of hearth fires into the tranquil air. Church bells sing their sweet morning song across the sleeping city, their melodious voices floating through narrow, winding streets where lanterns cast their warm, gentle glow against the fading shadows. Into this serene world of stone and morning mist, our story gently unfolds. We shall speak of Charles IV, who drew his first peaceful breath in the spring of 1316, when Europe was woven together like a beautiful tapestry of kingdoms and alliances, when the Holy Roman Empire stretched its protective embrace across distant lands, and when beautiful Bohemia rested like a precious jewel in the heart of Europe. As you rest here with us tonight, let us set aside thoughts of politics and power. Instead, we shall float softly through the quiet moments of an extraordinary life, like autumn leaves drifting peacefully on an evening breeze. Together, we shall wander dreamily through time's gentle corridors, from his first peaceful moments in Prague's ancient castle, through golden days in the French court, to the beautiful fulfillment of his dreams of creating a kingdom filled with wisdom's light and beauty's grace. As our tale flows onward, let your thoughts settle into the soothing rhythms of medieval days. Imagine soft candlelight dancing like whispered prayers on ancient stone walls. Listen to the peaceful song of the Vltava River flowing beneath the castle, and let your mind drift with the distant, ethereal chants of monks echoing through hushed chapel halls. Each gentle word we share becomes part of our peaceful journey through time. Let history's quiet stream carry your thoughts softly toward tranquil rest. Now close your eyes and breathe deeply, letting each breath bring deeper peace. This quiet hour belongs to you and to Charles, whose story we shall unfold with tender care, like precious pages of an ancient manuscript, each moment illuminated by memory's soft golden light. In the gentle warmth of a May morning in 1316, as delicate spring flowers opened their petals in the castle gardens and soft morning mist rose like dreams from the Vltava, a prince was born within the sheltering walls of Prague Castle. The city whispered with joy, for this precious child embodied hope, a beautiful joining of two noble houses. Into this delicate tapestry of lives and dreams, Charles stepped with the grace of falling snow. In the great hall of Prague Castle, where morning light danced like golden dust through ancient windows, he received noble families one by one, listening to their stories with the patience of mountain streams. In monastery gardens filled with the sweet breath of herbs, he walked with church prelates, their words mixing with birdsong. Through Prague's winding streets, he moved like a gentle breeze, hearing his people's hopes in their beloved Czech tongue, each word a precious gift. Like a master weaver, creating the most delicate tapestry, Charles gently wove together the threads of his kingdom. With infinite patience, he brought harmony where discord had dwelt. His touch was as light as morning dew, yet as constant as the flowing Vltava, as he nurtured understanding between nobles and townspeople and helped church and state find their peaceful balance. Each gentle gesture was like placing a precious stone in a mosaic of trust. Each thoughtful decision, another soft step toward unity. In 1346, as autumn gilded the forests of France with its gentle touch, whispered word reached Prague of King John's final journey. The valiant king, his eyes long since closed to earthly light, had found his eternal rest at the Battle of Crécy. Though his sight had failed, his courage never dimmed. He passed from this world as he had lived, riding bravely beside his French allies, while the tides of the 100 Years' War flowed around them like an endless river. The news of John's passing drifted through the hushed halls of power like autumn leaves on a peaceful breeze. The electors of the Holy Roman Empire, seeking a steady hand to guide them through uncertain times, turned their thoughts to Charles. In him, they saw a soul who could tenderly bridge two worlds, one who carried within his heart both the ancient wisdom of Bohemia and the gentle flowing currents of change in European politics. But before embracing the imperial crown, Charles knew in his heart that he must first become one with his homeland. As spring awakened Prague with its soft touch in 1347, breathing new life into every corner of the city, he prepared for the sacred moment of his coronation as King of Bohemia. St. Vitus Cathedral rose like a dream through the morning mist, its spires reaching toward heaven like silent prayers. Within its peaceful sanctuary, sweet incense floated like visible blessings through the air, while priests' voices wove together in gentle, timeless chants. Candlelight caressed the faces of those gathered, nobles, clergy, and townspeople alike, their breath held in reverent stillness. The crown of St. Wenceslas, crafted in precious gold and adorned with gems that caught the light like stars, settled upon Charles's head with the tender weight of centuries. Each jewel seemed to whisper stories of ages past, each golden curve a gentle reminder of sacred duties to come. In these first peaceful days of his reign, Charles moved with the graceful mindfulness of one who understood power's delicate nature. Like a gardener tending to different flowers, he nurtured both the ancient noble houses and the flourishing towns. He honored the wisdom of old ways while gently encouraging new growth. Around him, Europe flowed through times of great change. Whispers of plague drifted from the east like distant storm clouds. The 100 Years' War sighed through western lands, and ancient institutions swayed like trees in a changing wind. With Blanche of Valois beside him, her French elegance flowing seamlessly into his Bohemian strength, Charles walked the tranquil courtyards of Prague Castle. Together they moved like a gentle morning breeze, bringing the refined grace of Paris to merge with the timeless spirit of Bohemian kings. In the peaceful moments when evening draped its soft mantle over the Vltava River and church bells sang their sweet songs to vespers, Charles would stand in quiet contemplation of his beloved Prague. His dreams flowed beyond the gentle ripples of daily governance toward something more beautiful, a vision of his kingdom as a peaceful haven of wisdom and artistry. While other rulers dreamed of conquest's thunder, Charles envisioned gentler victories. In his mind's eye, he saw Prague adorned like a bride, her spires reaching skyward like prayers, her bridges spanning the waters like arms opened in welcome. He dreamed of courtyards filled with the soft murmur of scholars and the peaceful rhythms of craftsmen at work. His was a vision of a kingdom where wisdom and beauty would bloom together like flowers in a sheltered garden. The young prince who once studied by gentle candlelight in Paris had blossomed into a king who would guide his people by the soft light of wisdom. Under his nurturing care, Bohemia awakened like a garden in spring, each day bringing new beauty, each season unfolding with fresh promise. His father was John of Luxembourg, a young king of 20 summers, known throughout the lands for his noble spirit and adventurous heart. John was a gentle knight king who followed the call of honor, finding his peace in distant quests rather than the quiet of the throne. His mother, Elizabeth of Bohemia, was a graceful daughter of the ancient Přemyslid dynasty, carrying in her heart the precious legacy of centuries of Bohemian kings. She moved through life with quiet dignity, her soul deeply entwined with the spirit of the land and its people. Within the peaceful halls of Prague Castle, these two worlds merged like streams flowing into a quiet river, the free-spirited essence of Luxembourg joining with the deep, nurturing roots of Bohemia. The ancient castle seemed to cradle this moment in its loving embrace, watching over the first peaceful breaths of this child of destiny. They blessed him with the name Wenceslas, after the beloved holy duke who watched over Bohemia as its patron saint. It was a name that floated like a gentle prayer through the corridors of time, carrying whispers of sacred traditions and noble purpose. Though he would later be known as Charles in the distant gardens of France, for now he was Wenceslas, a cherished child of Prague, sleeping peacefully in the heart of his homeland. His early years flowed like a gentle stream through the peaceful rhythms of castle life. Each dawn would softly break over the Hradčany hill, as the young prince awakened to the melodious sound of morning prayers floating through the air. Through tall windows draped in morning mist, he watched the golden light slowly caress the city below. In the great hall, he observed the graceful dance of courtiers and advisors, their movements as fluid as shadows at twilight. In the castle chapel, where time seemed to pause between heartbeats, he learned the sacred rhythms of Mass, while sweet incense drifted like dreams through the hushed air. Beneath this tranquil surface, gentle currents of change moved like whispers through the castle halls. His father, the contemplative King John, often journeyed far, drawn to distant tournaments and noble quests across Europe. His mother, Elizabeth, remained in Prague like a steadfast guardian angel, watching over her children with quiet grace and gentle determination. In these tender years, the young prince learned that power could be as delicate as morning dew, as profound as evening prayers. In these precious childhood moments, watching and listening with a heart open to wonder, he discovered the sweet blessing of patience. In the soft spaces between words, in the peaceful stillness of empty halls, he found that wisdom often speaks most clearly in the gentle whispers of quiet moments. When he was 7 years old, Destiny's gentle hand beckoned him away from Prague. His father arranged for him to be nurtured at the French court, under the loving guidance of his uncle, King Charles IV of France. It was a parting as soft as autumn leaves falling, filled with both tender sorrow and whispered promise. In France, like a flower opening to morning light, the boy Wenceslas became Charles, taking his uncle's name in a ceremony that wove two worlds together like threads in a tapestry. Yet in his heart, he carried always the cherished memory of Prague's spires reaching toward the dawn sky, like prayers made of stone. Languages flowed into his young mind like gentle streams merging into a peaceful river. Latin came first, flowing like sacred music through church and learning. French followed, soft and melodious as evening birdsong. German and Czech he knew from birth, each one a tender key unlocking different chambers of his heritage. Later would come Italian, its musical syllables opening like flower petals to reveal new horizons of thought. Each language he embraced was like a new window opening onto a world of dreams, revealing how different peoples wove their thoughts and hopes into the tapestry of life. In the tranquil hours of evening, as candles cast their soft golden light, the young prince would bend like a willow over his books. His quill moved across parchment with the grace of falling snow, as he copied ancient texts, their wisdom seeping into his soul like gentle rain into fertile soil. His tutors spoke in soothing tones of law and scripture, of the sacred duties of kings, and the peaceful nature of justice. In these serene moments of study, wrapped in the quiet embrace of learning, he discovered that true wisdom was not merely an ornament for a prince, but the very foundation from which understanding could bloom like a garden in spring. And so, in these gentle early years, the boy who would one day be emperor gathered perhaps his most precious lesson, that true greatness grows not from the clash of swords, but from patience, wisdom, and the peaceful strength of a heart at rest with itself. In France, Charles entered a world that unfolded like a beautiful dream at the court of Valois. The Palais de la Cité rose like a vision above the softly flowing Seine, its halls filled with the melodious murmur of courtly conversation. Tapestries depicting noble deeds of the past adorned the walls like woven dreams, their threads catching the golden light that streamed through tall windows. Here, amid the soothing scent of beeswax candles and fresh herbs scattered like blessings across rush-matted floors, the young prince found himself embraced by the most graceful court in Europe. He learned the gentle art of courtly life under the nurturing gaze of his aunt, Queen Jeanne d'Evreux, whose serene wisdom flowed like a quiet stream into his understanding of governance. In the great hall, he observed how his uncle, King Charles IV, wove together the interests of nobles and clergy with the delicate skill of a master weaver, using words soft as silk and gestures gentle as morning mist to maintain harmony in his realm. The French court drifted like a dream through the seasons between Paris and the Loire Valley Chateau. In spring, Charles would join the royal hunting parties, where falcons painted graceful arcs against azure skies and hounds sang their ancient songs in misty forests. In winter, he found peace in scholarly debates at the University of Paris, where great minds shared wisdom like whispered prayers in chambers warmed by golden torchlight. Picture him in the sacred stillness of Sainte-Chapelle, where jeweled light drifted like heavenly dreams through soaring stained-glass windows, creating an atmosphere that seemed to dissolve the boundaries between earth and paradise. Here, surrounded by biblical scenes that glowed like gentle stars in countless colors, the young prince contemplated the divine mystery of kingship with a heart full of wonder. Like a gentle stream gathering wisdom along its course, Charles's education flowed beyond the quiet realm of books. In the hushed halls of diplomacy, he observed ambassadors from distant lands, their soft voices carrying messages across kingdoms. Each graceful exchange was a lesson in the delicate art of peace, showing how gentle words could bridge the widest divides. The French court wrapped him in its peaceful wisdom, teaching that true strength often lies in the softest touch, in patient understanding rather than forceful demands. His path meandered southward like a dreaming river, winding through the majestic Alps into the warm embrace of Italy. The mountain passes opened before him like gates to a peaceful dream, where the ancient splendor of Rome merged softly with the gentle devotion of medieval faith. In Italy's embrace, Charles discovered cities that breathed with their own peaceful rhythms, each one a lullaby of human endeavor. Florence's narrow streets whispered with the soft echoes of craftsmen's work and merchants' gentle calls. In Sienna's tranquil squares, he found places where civic pride and artistic beauty danced together in perfect harmony. The air carried the soothing fragrance of cypress trees and stone warmed by the Mediterranean sun. Each Italian city-state offered its own quiet wisdom, like pearls on a silken thread. Florence showed him how gentle commerce could weave empires more lasting than any forged by arms. Venice's peaceful waters brought treasures from distant shores, carried on waves of trade and understanding. In Rome, beneath the eternal city's ancient columns and within its sacred basilicas, he felt the deep, steady pulse of imperial legacy flowing through time. From these gentle journeys, Charles gathered wisdom as tenderly as morning dew collecting on rose petals. The French court had wrapped him in the silk of graceful governance, while Italy painted his soul with the soft colors of art and commerce. Yet through all his wanderings, the peaceful memory of Prague's spires called to him like a mother's lullaby. As his years of learning drew to their peaceful close, Charles had become like a garden where many beautiful flowers bloomed together. Within his heart, the elegant grace of France danced with Italy's artistic soul, while the steadfast spirit of his Bohemian homeland flowed like a quiet river beneath it all. These gentle elements would blend together like notes in a sacred hymn as he shaped his reign into one of Europe's most peaceful golden ages. When Charles returned to Bohemia in 1333, he found a kingdom resting in delicate balance, like a morning mist settling over the land. The ancient streets of Prague whispered their secrets. Noble families dwelling in their towering stone houses like birds in their nests, while in the peaceful cloisters, priests contemplated the gentle dance between heaven and earth. The kingdom had grown quiet under King John's absence, like a garden waiting for spring's tender touch. His father, King John, though beloved across Europe for his chivalrous heart, had become like a distant star to his own realm. While he sought glory in far-off tournaments and battles, Bohemia's noble houses had grown like quiet trees in a forest, their roots spreading deep and wide. The merchant guilds of Prague and other royal towns had flourished like flowers in a meadow, their prosperity flowing as gently as morning light through the kingdom. The news of John's passing drifted through the hushed halls of power like autumn leaves on a peaceful breeze. The electors of the Holy Roman Empire, seeking a steady hand to guide them through uncertain times, turned their thoughts to Charles. In him, they saw a soul who could tenderly bridge two worlds, one who carried within his heart both the ancient wisdom of Bohemia and the gentle flowing currents of change in European politics. But before embracing the imperial crown, Charles knew in his heart that he must first become one with his homeland. As spring awakened Prague with its soft touch in 1347, Breathing new life into every corner of the city, he prepared for the sacred moment of his coronation as King of Bohemia. St. Vitus Cathedral rose like a dream through the morning mist, its spires reaching toward heaven like silent prayers. Within its peaceful sanctuary, sweet incense floated like visible blessings through the air, while priest voices wove together in gentle, timeless chants. Candlelight caressed the faces of those gathered, nobles, clergy, and townspeople alike, their breath held in reverent stillness. The crown of St. Wenceslas, crafted in precious gold and adorned with gems that caught the light like stars, settled upon Charles's head with the tender weight of centuries. Each jewel seemed to whisper stories of ages past, each golden curve a gentle reminder of sacred duties to come. In these first peaceful days of his reign, Charles moved with the graceful mindfulness of one who understood power's delicate nature. Like a gardener tending to different flowers, he nurtured both the ancient noble houses and the flourishing towns. He honored the wisdom of old ways while gently encouraging new growth. Around him, Europe flowed through times of great change. Whispers of plague drifted from the east like distant storm clouds. The 100 years back, war sighed through western lands, and ancient institutions swayed like trees in a changing wind. With Blanche of Valois beside him, her French elegance flowing seamlessly into his Bohemian strength, Charles walked the tranquil courtyards of Prague Castle. Together they moved like a gentle morning breeze, bringing the refined grace of Paris to merge with the timeless spirit of Bohemian kings. In the peaceful moments when evening draped its soft mantle over the Vltava River and church bells sang their sweet songs to vespers, Charles would stand in quiet contemplation of his beloved Prague. His dreams flowed beyond the gentle ripples of daily governance towards something more beautiful, a vision of his kingdom as a peaceful haven of wisdom and artistry. While other rulers dreamed of conquest's thunder, Charles envisioned gentler victories. In his mind's eye, he saw Prague adorned like a bride, her spires reaching skyward like prayers, her bridges spanning the waters like arms opened in welcome. He dreamed of courtyards filled with the soft murmur of scholars and the peaceful rhythms of craftsmen at work. His was a vision of a kingdom where wisdom and beauty would bloom together like flowers in a sheltered garden. The young prince, who once studied by gentle candlelight in Paris, had blossomed into a king who would guide his people by the soft light of wisdom. Under his nurturing care, Bohemia awakened like a garden in spring, each day bringing new beauty, each season unfolding with fresh promise. As winter's chill gradually released its hold on the peaceful lands of Bohemia, Charles prepared for a journey that would gently transform both himself and the empire. Though already crowned king of the Romans, the deepest symbol of imperial authority awaited him in the eternal city like a distant star guiding his path. His journey to Rome would follow ancient ways through lands both familiar and new, each step carrying the whispered wisdom of centuries past. In the gentle dawn of early spring, of 1355, as tender wildflowers began to softly color the peaceful meadows of Bohemia, Charles's noble procession quietly departed Prague. Like a dream taking shape in morning mist, their journey south would become a pilgrimage of both spirit and body, winding through the majestic Alps where winter's pure snow still embraced the highest peaks. His entourage flowed like a peaceful stream through the tranquil landscape. Nobles in silken robes that whispered with movement, holy men carrying sacred relics with reverent care, devoted servants leading patient pack animals bearing precious gifts and provisions. The rhythmic sound of hoofbeats on ancient stone roads echoed softly through serene valleys where countless travelers had journeyed in peaceful passage for 1,000 years. The passage through the Alps unfolded like a meditation between earthly realms. As the procession gently ascended into the mountains, the air became crystal clear and pure. Majestic snow-crowned peaks reached tenderly toward heaven like nature's own cathedral spires. In these peaceful heights where graceful eagles drifted below on silent wings, Charles might have contemplated how the gentle challenges of the journey mirrored the sacred duties of imperial guidance, each step calling for thoughtful wisdom, each choice rippling softly through time like circles in still water. The ancient mountain paths, winding with quiet purpose through the heights, taught lessons of patience and contemplation, much as the art of peaceful governance itself. As they descended with gentle steps into Italy's embracing valleys, the landscape transformed with soothing grace. Sweet-scented olive groves and peaceful vineyards replaced the serene strength of alpine stone. The air became rich with calming fragrances, cypress trees and wild herbs offering their subtle perfume to passing travelers. Each city welcomed them with quiet ceremony, soft bells singing their greeting, colorful banners dancing like silk butterflies in the spring breeze. In Milan's sacred spaces, the Iron Crown of Lombardy was placed with reverent care upon Charles's head, another peaceful step in the ancient ceremony of imperial blessing. Even as he received these honors with gracious humility, his thoughts drifted peacefully toward Rome, where the most sacred symbol of imperial duty awaited. Rome in 1355 was a city where time itself seemed to drift in peaceful circles. Ancient marble ruins standing in quiet harmony with soaring Christian basilicas, the eternal seat of spiritual guidance, preparing to bestow temporal blessing. As Charles's procession approached along the tranquil Via Flaminia, the eternal city seemed to pause in peaceful anticipation. Morning light blessed the golden cross atop St. Peter's Basilica with gentle radiance, while in the quiet streets below, citizens prepared with reverent joy for a ceremony that would weave together the sacred threads of spiritual and earthly guidance. The coronation itself unfolded like a sacred meditation, each moment wrapped in centuries of divine meaning. In the hushed sanctuary of St. Peter's Basilica, where countless prayers had created an atmosphere of profound peace, Charles knelt in humble devotion before Pope Innocent VI. The Holy Father, keeper of heaven's grace on earth, would place the imperial crown upon his head with gentle hands. A crown that symbolized not merely authority, but the sacred trust to nurture Christendom and tend to justice with loving care. The ancient ceremony flowed like a peaceful river, the blessed oil anointing with divine grace, the sword of state offered with solemn reverence, the imperial mantle settling like a protective embrace upon Charles's shoulders. With the crown came sacred duties that touched all corners of Europe with gentle purpose. The Holy Roman Emperor was called to be both spiritual guardian and earthly shepherd, to nurture harmony among countless principalities and free cities, to tend the garden of peace in lands where ancient differences whispered like autumn leaves. Charles understood in his heart that true imperial guidance grew not from force, but from patient wisdom and the gentle cultivation of understanding and learning. The Golden Bull emerged like a guiding star, a gentle reflection of this deep understanding, a sacred text that would bring peaceful order to the selection of future emperors. In its carefully illuminated pages, Charles created a framework of harmony that would guide the empire through centuries to come. The 7 prince-electors would choose future emperors through a ceremony as graceful as a monastery garden, their sacred duties flowing with the natural clarity of morning dew on rose petals. Like a gentle autumn evening settling over Prague Castle, the later years of Charles's life unfold in peaceful contemplation. Time has silvered his hair and etched wisdom into his face, as he finds solace in quiet moments of reflection and writing. The once adventurous prince has mellowed like fine wine, his presence bringing comfort and stability to all who seek his counsel. He gifts us with a treasure beyond measure, his autobiography, the Vita Caroli, flowing from his pen like a peaceful stream of memories. Within its carefully crafted pages, we discover not tales of conquest, but the gentle musings of a soul looking back on life's sacred journey. Each word, written in flowing Latin script, carries us softly from his days as a young prince in Paris to his role as a shepherd of empire. Like moonlight illuminating ancient stones, this precious text reveals the depth of his faith, his tender love of learning, and his understanding that true leadership flows from both strength and gentleness, like a river carrying both power and peace. Through the mists of time, his writings and letters reach out to us like whispered wisdom. In them, we find a soul who understood life's fleeting nature and the sacred duty of leaving a legacy of light. His words speak not of battlefield glory, but of the Czech. Quiet dedication to building lasting sanctuaries of peace and learning. Like a gardener tending precious flowers, he cultivated institutions that would bloom through centuries, nurturing faith through beauty rather than force. His gentle wisdom acknowledges that while kingdoms may fade like evening shadows, the light of knowledge and beauty shines eternal. To his beloved son Wenceslas and those yet to come, he bequeaths not merely the weight of a crown, but a tapestry of carefully woven wisdom. His letters flow like a lullaby of guidance, teaching them to embrace justice with mercy's gentle touch, to cherish peace like morning dew, to shelter the vulnerable and honor those who seek knowledge. With a father's tender care, he shows them that true power lies not in commanding voices, but in hearts that listen and minds that understand. Throughout the lands of Bohemia and beyond, hearts warm to know him as Otek Vlasti, father of the homeland. This name, bestowed like a gentle blessing, speaks of how he transformed the role of ruler into that of a nurturing guardian. In his actions, people saw not the distant figure of an emperor, but the loving attention of a father watching over his children, his care touching each life like soft morning light. His legacy blossoms not from conquest's harsh soil, but from seeds of wisdom, law, and beauty planted with loving care across his realm. The University of Prague rises like a dawn of knowledge, drawing seeking souls from distant shores. The Golden Bull flows through time like a river of stability, while the Charles Bridge stands in silent grace, connecting hearts and minds. Across the flowing waters. When Charles's spirit gently departs in November 1378 within the embracing walls of his beloved Prague castle, the city wraps itself in quiet mourning. Church bells sing their solemn song across the peaceful land, their voices carrying memories into the eternal sky. People gather in hushed streets and torch-lit squares, sharing stories of their emperor who ruled with wisdom's soft touch rather than fear's sharp edge. Though his earthly presence has faded like evening light, his works remain as eternal as stars in the night sky. The university continues to nurture seeking minds like a garden of wisdom, while the cathedral's spires reach heavenward like prayers in stone. The bridge he built joins hearts in lasting harmony, while his laws and institutions cradle justice and peace like precious gifts. Through architecture, art, and learning, his gentle influence continues to shape the soul of Central Europe like moonlight shaping shadows. Through the soft whispers of passing centuries, his reign glows as a luminous beacon of enlightened leadership. His legacy teaches us that true authority needs no thundering voice, that lasting influence grows like a garden tended with patience, that a ruler's greatest gift lies in nurturing rather than commanding. His story flows to us across time like a peaceful river, showing that the most enduring monuments rise not from stone alone, but from the eternal foundations of wisdom, justice, and peace. As our journey through Charles's life gently draws to its close like evening shadows lengthening across ancient stones, let us rest here in the soft, dreamy twilight of medieval Prague, where golden light bathes ancient stones in warmth. The beloved city cradles his memory like a precious jewel, each graceful spire, each weathered stone, each gentle toll of distant bells singing his story into the gathering dusk. We have drifted with Charles through the peaceful seasons of his remarkable journey, from the wide-eyed child in the tranquil gardens of the French court, to the thoughtful young king finding his way home, to the wise and gentle emperor who wrapped Central Europe in a blanket of peace and learning. His story flows to us across time like a lullaby, whispering that true greatness can be as soft as morning light on castle walls. Let his gentle wisdom float into your thoughts like evening mist rising from the Vltava, soft and silver in the fading light. His legacy whispers to us that true strength flows not from the power to command, but from the tender grace to nurture, the patient heart to build, the loving spirit to preserve. The precious gift he left still breathes softly in Europe's dreaming heart. His beloved bridge carries weary travelers across the murmuring river, ancient statues keeping their eternal vigil in the velvet dusk. His cherished university cradles the seeds of wisdom, its hushed halls echoing with centuries of quiet learning. His sacred cathedral reaches toward heaven like a prayer carved in stone, its spires floating like dreams among the stars. In these peaceful hours, his tale gently reminds us that life's sweetest victories come not from the thunder of battle, but from the soft footsteps of peace. That wisdom shapes our world as gently as moonlight shapes shadows. That true leadership blooms from the seeds of kindness, not the thorns of power. As your thoughts grow soft with sleep, drift peacefully through the dreaming streets of medieval Prague, where golden lanterns cast their tender light on ancient stones, where the eternal river sings its ageless lullaby beneath diamond stars, where the castle watches over centuries of gentle dreams. Here, in this beloved city that Charles cherished, his spirit still walks the quiet pathways like morning mist, forever reminding us that greatness can be as gentle as twilight, that power can bow to wisdom, that peace can be the sweetest gift we leave behind.